Good morning, Soho Parish. I hope you're keeping well. In today's assembly, I'm going to be reflecting on our Soho Parish value of community. I wonder what comes to mind when you hear that word community. I'm going to give you a few minutes to have a little reflection, to think about what does community mean to you. You might have brought to mind some of the different communities that you're part of. Maybe your family community, or a group or a club that you're part of. Maybe a faith community, our school community, your local community, or neighbours or people who live nearby. And maybe you even thought bigger than that and started to think about the wider community, the community of London, of the UK, and even the worldwide community that we're part of and our citizenship. And we might be missing some of these communities that we're part of at the moment while we've been staying at home and not going out. I know that myself and all of the other teachers have definitely been missing you. But just because we might not be able to go and take part in some of those communities in person at the moment, it doesn't mean that we can't still be fully connected to all of those communities. The Bible verse that we illustrate our community value with at school comes from Corinthians. If one member of the community suffers, all suffer together with it. If one is honoured, all are honoured. This line is part of a longer chapter. I'm not going to read you all of it today. I've picked out a few lines that I'd like to share with you. If you'd like to read the full verse, then maybe you can look it up yourself and spend some time reflecting on what it means to you. The body is a unit, though it is composed of many parts. And although its parts are many, they all form one body. For the body does not consist of one part, but of many. If the foot should say, "Because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body," that would not make it any less part of the body. And if the ear should say, "Because I am not an eye, I do not belong to the body," that would not make it any less part of the body. The eye cannot say to the hand, "I do not need you," nor can the head say to the feet, "I do not need you." So, there should be no division in the body, but that its members should have mutual concern for one another. I think this emphasises just how important it is that even though we might be seeing less people at the moment, that we're not actually separate from one another. We all have an effect on each other. So when others suffer, we suffer too. And when others are happy, we can rejoice in their happiness, and this can make us happy too. Also, we might be all different in our community, but we're all still really important to that community with our uniqueness and our individuality, just like Myra was emphasising in her assembly on individuality last week. And you're a really important part of our school community. So we need to work together to look after each other, to serve our community and one another. We might not be able to be physically together at the moment, but there are still things we can do to stay connected with our friends and family and our school community. So I've been using the phone, the internet, writing letters, sending cards and things like that to stay connected to my friends. And I know that some of the teachers have been calling round to you over the last 2 weeks and have been really enjoying connecting with you. We've also started using Tapestry and Seesaw, so that's a really good way for you to keep connected with your classmates and to see what they've been doing. We've also really been enjoying making videos for you to watch on our Soho Parish YouTube channel, and I hope you've been enjoying watching them as much as we've been enjoying making them. We've also had the arts newsletter go out and Soho Scoop, which is a really good way of staying connected as a wider school community and knowing what everybody has been up to. And there'll be another arts newsletter coming out next week. So do send me anything creative that you've been doing at home that I can share with everybody else in that. And I've also been really impressed at some of the creative ways that you've been staying connected with each other. So you might remember from the arts newsletter that Felicity in year 1 had a really creative way of staying in touch with her cousins. So she set up a teddy bears picnic and she wrote some invitations to her cousins in Ireland, who then joined her for that teddy bears picnic via video. What a creative way of staying in contact. And then also, I'm going to share a picture by Daniel in year 2, which I think is a really lovely way of staying connected with his classmates. So he's been really artistic and creative and has drawn all of his classmates to bring them to life at home, and he's even set his own classroom up with them. So I'm going to share that image with you now. I definitely think he was using his Soho Parish value of imagination there. So well done, Daniel. I wonder if you could recognise any of the year 2 class in his picture. You might want to go back and have a little look. So as you can see, there's lots of different ways that we can stay connected creatively to one another, to our friends and family. Something I've noticed over the last few weeks is just how much more connected I feel to the wider community. So what's happening to us isn't just happening to us, it's happening to everyone all over the world, and we're responding to that together. So there's a real sense of solidarity in that. So solidarity is when we're united and we have mutual concern for one another. So this reminds me of the line from Corinthians, so I'm going to read it to you now. So there should be no division in the body, but that its members should have mutual concern for one another. So Louise gave an assembly online on imagination a couple of weeks ago, and thinking about others and putting ourselves in their shoes. And being able to empathise with others takes a real act of imagination. So we're able to extend our love and our concern and our care, not just to ourselves, but take that out to more and more people. And something I've also noticed at the moment is just how more friendly some people have been to strangers in the street. That's really struck me. So making sure that they give enough space to people as they walk past, being patient, smiling at people, and yeah, just really generally looking out for one another, to the people they know and to the people they don't know. And I've noticed that in myself a little bit more as well. So I've noticed that I've become a bit more patient and I'm being a bit more friendly and smiling more at the postman and delivery men and people like that. So in a way, even though we're more physically distanced from each other at the moment, I feel like it really offers us an opportunity to actually come into closer connection with one another in how we respond to each other with love, with care and support. As I said, you might be missing your friends at school and other communities at the moment. And when we miss something, often that can help us to realise a bit more what we're grateful for. And when we're grateful for something, that can help us to show more appreciation for it. And when we're grateful for something, the natural response is to want to give back. So maybe we can spend this time bringing to mind what we're grateful for and reflecting on how we might want to give back more in the future, what we might want to spend our time doing. So that might be thinking about how we spend our time with our friends and our family. It might be thinking about how we give back to our local communities or to the wider worldwide community, even the planet. So something I'd like to do more of is to walk a bit more rather than getting public transport. I wonder what you'd like to do, what you'd like to change. Maybe that's something you could reflect on this week. And the first thing you could do is to bring to mind your gratitude. So you could write a little gratitude list to start. So the best thing that we can do to look after ourselves and the community at the moment is still to stay at home. But we might be inspired to do something else for our local community. So quite a lot of charities are struggling at the moment, so you might feel inspired to raise some money for a charity if you can. And if you can't, that's okay. Don't underestimate the power of the small things. They will have an effect. So you might remember I sent round a kindness calendar a few weeks ago, which you might have been filling in every day with your act of kindness. And this will have an effect, even something small like giving somebody a smile. And you might have also had a go at doing the well-wishing meditation that I posted on here a few weeks ago as well. This can be a really lovely way of connecting with others, sending them our love and our care and our well-wishing, people that we know and also people that we don't know. And we can come together in solidarity and support by clapping the NHS as well at 8 o'clock on every Thursday evening. Maybe you'd like to create a piece of artwork or a poster expressing what community means to you. In fact, it might be all of the Soho Parish values that you'd like to include and what they mean to you, whatever ignites your imagination. And if you'd like to share that, you can send it to me, or you could post it on Tapestry or Seesaw for your teachers and your classmates to see. And don't forget that I said that there'll be another arts newsletter coming out at the end of next week. So please do remember to send me anything that you would like to see in there, anything creative that you've been up to at home over the last few weeks since the Easter holidays. I have no doubt that there'll be lots of individuality and imagination in your creative work, and it's lovely for us to share that as a Soho Parish creative community. So we'll end today's assembly with a moment of reflection, and I'll read a prayer that Reverend Simon has sent to me to read. So I'll just light the candle. So the warmth of the candle can remind us of the warmth of our love and our care for one another, even though we might be far away from each other. And the light can be our prayers and our well-wishings spreading out into the world for one another. And as I read the prayer from Reverend Simon today, for those of us that might be of a different faith or of a non-faith, then just listen to the words of the prayer and hold that value and message of love and community and care and well-wishing in your hearts. God and Father of us all, you made us to know and to love other people, to be loved by our families, and to enjoy the company of friends. Help us to remember the communities of which we are part, but which we cannot fully share in at this time. Keep us thankful for the community of our school and hopeful that we will soon gather together again. Bless and watch over every member of our community, to keep them safe, to keep them learning, and to keep them happy until we are together again. Amen. So I wish you well in the week ahead, Soho Parish, and hopefully we can keep that message of love and support and community in our hearts throughout the week, sending our well wishings to all.